I got a few with him. Here's what I do to them.
If you continue to use television in its current form, you're going to be very painfully disappointed in the returns that you get from the medium in the years to come.
Brands are paying networks and stations $60 billion a year to show advertising. If you get to that end game where everyone has a DVR, who pays for television?
Since we first laid eyes on it, we've been captivated by it. It has told us when to watch, and we have obeyed.
PVRs and devices like TiVo are actually empowering consumers because then they can watch television on their own terms, when they want to watch it, what they want to watch.
Consumers more control over what they watch, when they watch it, what they don't watch.
The important thing that people are asking for now is they want to control the TV
choices
experience.
People have, and the more they'll be able to make a choice as to what they view or what they don't.
Control back of their viewing behavior and what they want to watch and when they want to watch.
Technologies are coming into the home. They're giving consumers greater choice.
Since the video cassette recorder, people have had the ability to tape television shows, to fast forward through commercials, and with remote controls, which that's a technology that's 50 years old, people have had that ability to change the channel. The question becomes, when does this achieve some sort of critical mass?
Technology that's changing television is basically the technology of the computer. The hard drive is what gives the consumer the amazing control, choice, convenience, the ability to condense, combine. And the hard drive can either sit on top of the television, and then we call it a digital video recorder, or the hard drive can basically sit at a cable head end. We call it video on demand.
Order a movie with video on demand, and you can start it whenever you're ready and fast forward it whenever you want.
Video on demand is essentially a service where what we do as a cable company is we put a lot of servers into the network, and we store a lot of videos in the network. So for people, they can think of it essentially like a video store in their home.
People don't really understand it until you actually put the remote control in their hand and you say, now you can pause live TV and you can rewind. And as soon as they have that remote control in their hand, they get it immediately.
Say you're watching a TV show. Suddenly something happens. Let's see that again. We just did our own instant replay while watching a live show.
I love to watch sports, and I have a TiVo machine, and somebody asked, well, there's always been remote controls, but the remote control only allowed you to change the station.
This selector button changes channels clockwise.
Once upon a time, people were so busy they forgot about lunch. Make lunch a meal again.
So what happens primarily is that they have the capability to skip commercial content. They have the capability to time shift when they watch programming. So right there you have technology that is impacting both the economic models of how programming is developed and also scheduling models of how programming is deployed.
The numbers show that when somebody watches a show using, a DVR or a TiVo, they fast forward by the commercials. Why wouldn't they?
I think really when you sit down and think about it and analyze and try to think about where we're going, it's an opportunity
than it is a threat.
Offers us an opportunity, I think, really to do something fresh and something new and something
I see TiVo as a challenge. It's not a threat.
So, when did our relationship with it turn from fascination to fixation? Why should television have this much power over your life when you can have power over it?
On a TiVo, and this is either live or if you've recorded it, when the ad comes up, there's a little call to action that comes up on the screen. It says click button, and what it does is it pauses the program and then kicks you over to the showcases area of TiVo, which is where they put various content, including advertising content.
You know what I want more than anything? A bucket of fried chicken.
Hey, idiot. That thing picks up everything you say.
What's...
How many homes are going to be accessing video on demand versus DVR time-shifted programming? Don't know. How many hours of programming are going to be HD versus standard definition? Don't know. How many people are going to be accessing their program guide to lean in and watch a program? Don't know. But it's pretty clear that turning on the TV set and leaning back and just seeing what's on television and enjoying what happens to be being served up at the time is clearly not going to be the television experience in the years to come.
Control over live TV.
The existing management of television networks see the inevitability of the tremendous changes digital media is going to cause to their industry. And they're saying, let me get through my period in this industry and let my successor handle these enormous problems.
The networks used to control about 90% of the viewing in this country in prime time. On an average year, they're probably now falling under 50.
Well, I think one of the big issues right now is how long the traditional broadcast television network are going to be able to maintain their hold on the mass market.
Yes, in little more than a wink of time, television has entered our homes, our lives, imprinted new silhouettes on our skyline. And all this has been just the beginning.
In the 70s, Tuesday night on ABC, you knew what that schedule was. It was appointment viewing, Happy Days in Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company. Saturday night on CBS, you knew you could look forward to Archie Bunker, George Jefferson, Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, and Carol Burnett. That level of reliability, that level of almost sort of a cult following in terms of specific schedules and networks and days, that's all falling by the wayside. As the audience fragments and the viewership numbers for the networks, both broadcast and cable, get lower, the price that they're charging for Thursday commercial continues to rise. And it kind of defies logic, but what it really speaks to is the continuing dominance of television as really the primary medium.
Network television will become the place for big event television, the place where consumers go when they want to have an experience that's shared at the same time with everyone else in the country.
10 women, 6 roses. Who will be sent home broken-hearted? Find out when The Bachelor returns.
Reality shows are definitely here to stay, especially because they are actually easier to integrate brand advertisers, and brand advertisers are obviously looking to do more, you know, in terms of product placement and product integration. So reality producers have actually gained a lot more of currency, I guess, and maybe not respect, but a lot more sort of currency and power vis-a-vis their scripted brethren.
The benefit of reality is that it's easier to do these integration deals with a reality show than it is with a scripted show. So I think that there's a lot of motivation for the networks to do more reality and therefore more integration deals.
Television, an unparalleled blending of science and art, invention and engineering, private incentive and public service. By television, American business has found a most effective advertising medium.
Nobody's going to get our programming for nothing. If we have to change the model, we will. But one way or the other, if they want CSI, they're going to pay for it.
Don't let them go into shock!
CSI Miami. Hollywood is America's single greatest export, and there's a lot of power, and there's a lot of myth, and there's a lot of glamour attached to it. And while their economic models may be suffering currently, you know, that sort of magic of content and programming, movies and TVs and CDs, you know, it's not going away.
What's really happening is that the center of focus is now on the consumer and the content itself.
Television will probably remain, you know, a mass consumption medium, but I think it'll continue to be, you know, parceled out into smaller groupings.
Whatever the next sort of Friends or ER is, it may not necessarily be associated with a particular network on a particular night. It may just be associated with, this is a great show. I'm gonna TiVo it for the next, you know, 3 months, and I'll watch it every Saturday afternoon when my kid's at my soccer game. That's gonna be more of the mentality that people are going to take towards programming.
There'll be a move towards non-scheduled television so that you're really not tuning into a time-based schedule. You just call up the things you want to watch from a central server. Some are already beginning at HBO in New York now offers many of its shows on demand. I guess it would seem unlikely for that not to continue.
And there is serious change afoot, but this revolution is not happening overnight. What's going to happen is 5-10 years from now, we're all going to wake up and it's going to dawn upon us that, hey, this television business it's a lot different than it used to be, huh?
After like 50 years of watching TV commercials, the average person is pretty much resistant to being sold to. So the big idea right now is product placement, which is embedding the product right into the program so that people can't avoid the commercial because the commercial is in the program that they're already watching.
There was a program called Pepsi Smash, which was essentially a glorified infomercial for Pepsi.
Welcome to Smash!
I get up in the morning and I think about how to take the various brands of Pepsi and integrate them in a completely holistic manner into a television show.
Tonight on Pepsi, Play for $1 billion. And now, tonight's $1 billion host, Drew Carey.
Pepsi was completely sort of wrapped into that as a marketing idea and into the television show.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode. And what he has done challenge-wide, he deserves a call than anyone else.
In each of these tanks is $23 million in brand new redesigned $20 bills.
Somebody in this audience will also get $1,000 right here. These are brand new bills, $20 bills, just put out by the Federal Reserve this week.
We got involved in a show called American Idol. We saw that it was a natural for a telecommunications company.
If you're an AT&T wireless subscriber, go to the message screen. Type the word vote. Some AT&T fans in the house.
Just because it's possible to put a brand or an image or an icon or a logo in front of a consumer doesn't mean that consumer is going to receive that favorably.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna do the group song now, right? Who's missing?
Ricky and Charles.
That's the wrong idea, you know? I think that's just people sort of slamming their product into the program with no kind of respect given to the program itself. I think, you know, the Sex and the City Absolute thing was sort of interesting. I know Absolute did very well off of that.
Samantha had used her pushiness to parlay her new man's hit off-Broadway show into a hot on-Broadway poster.
And honey, I'm not even sure the poster does you justice.
Fox wanted to create buzz for the season opening of 24, so they put the program together with no television commercials during the show itself. We embedded the F-Series within the show itself, and we had a little, I would say, entertainment video, and it was based on some of the feeling of how 24 actually works. So it's a very, very different way of how you buy time and how the whole media process works.
Product placement is very effective in its many things, but it's not advertising. You know, you can't simply throw a Ford 150 into 24 and do all the message conveyance you need to do to customers.
Here in the United States, there's law against unfair and deceptive advertising acts and practices. And so we've asked the Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communications Commission to require disclosure that the ads are ads.
They want disclaimers at the bottom of the program. They want crawls or text superimposed on the screen to make it perfectly clear to the viewer that what they're watching has some advertising incorporated into it. And needless to say, the advertisers are dead set against that.
Jeff pulled out the keys, and sure enough, the brand new Envoy is my new vehicle. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
It's a kind of a combination, SUV, truck, car, a couple of cool features.
This kind of product integration is inherently deceptive because so many viewers don't know that the storylines are essentially for sale.
In the case of BMW films, the consumer lives on the web, lives on the internet. So they took the advertising to the internet and produced BMW films.
You can sit and watch that and be entertained without even, being aware perhaps that it's an advertisement for BMW. For me, that's one of the examples of advertising in a new and different way that's being done right.
Believe it or not, the advertising community was kind of shocked and resistant towards it because it sort of made everybody say, well, that's not the usual ad, that's not what we know how to do. And I think people got kind of nervous that they had to learn new skills, and the truth is they do.
We just did this project where we created a whole story on the net that was a hoax about a young kid whose mind is essentially damaged by a game put out by Sega, and he's gone to protest it. And it was paid for by Sega, and it was very successful among gamers. They liked it because they weren't sure if it was true or not.
We're in a period of experimentation. I think that new rules are being invented. It's clear that the old rules don't work anymore, but it'll be another decade before things are really figured out.
And honey, I'm not even sure the poster does you justice.
Consumers are changing the way they absorb information, absorb promotions. Media has changed dramatically from big mass audiences to very segmented audiences. And brands are changing because they can't rely on the same traditional ways to do what they used to do.
Technology to make a small amount of people a lot of money.
I think classic advertising is kind of dying. And we have to find new ways and get our messages out there in any legal way possible.
Do we continue to use television? Is it doing the things we need it to do in terms of delivering audiences and messages?
There are many advertisers that will say, well, we're really going back to the past when advertisers used to sponsor programming and it was, the Kodak Hour or the Texaco Theater.
Milton!
In the 1950s, we weren't accustomed to being exposed to commercials every 5 or 6 minutes. Now we are, so you can't just flip the model and go back to the past.
Reality is advertising has always been in some way about connecting media and consumers and brands. And what's happening today is all three of those are changing dramatically.
Hollywood and Madison Avenue have made deals, J. Walter Thompson and Brillstein Gray and different people like this, but by and large, the making of the deal, the putting of the people together doesn't necessarily solve what Hollywood's good at in terms of telling stories and providing entertainment, and what Madison Avenue is good at, which is determining who the audience is and how they like to receive their messages and what the advertiser's message should be.
The talent agencies, the ICM, CAAs, William Morris's of the world, are licensed to represent talent by the Screen Actors Guild. And in their recent negotiation, they secured the right to now own programming. Percentages, 10-20% of it. Based on that news, the advertising agencies now are saying to the privately held talent agencies, let's come together. We've got clients, you've got talent over here, we'll own and we'll make programming.
The creative community has always gone to the network and tried to please the network so that the programming would go on and be a hit. So the mind of the creator is thinking, what can I create that will satisfy me creatively and also sell? But the creative community never said, what can I come up with that will help the advertiser?
The whole thing of DVRs or VOD as a platform or hybrid systems or these advanced technologies is letting advertisers get to receptive and interested potential customers.
Because it's not about interrupting that experience with advertising, it's about enabling that experience with advertising.
If you could build a site, and what you're doing is you're guaranteeing them, you will see some really fun ads, and also you can control what you want to see. So if you want to see lots of ads, that's fine. If there's just one you just want to have a look at and have a laugh and a giggle, that's good too. You control it. So we thought, well, if we could do all those things and give a sort of modicum control and interactivity and choice and guarantee entertainment, people might go. For instance, you think, right, I'm interested, let's go and see the fruit pastels ad, shall we? So you go, right, let's have a go. So you press that.
Hi, sir. How's it going? So I'm having real trouble with my revision. Helen said becoming a doctor was going to be easy. Here, try one of these. Roundtree fruit pastels. That's right. They're fruity, they're chewy, and they'll guarantee you'll pass those exams. Thanks, Dad. Attaboy. Hello, son. Small cotton chips, please.
Roundtree's fruit pastels. The fruity, the chewy. What more do you want?
We love that ad, so you go, I love that, great, here we go. So you get a little sting, little fun, little interactivity, and then it clicks back into the ad chart. So do you want to see other ones? What do you want to do? And you can sort of play with it like that.
The advertisers and the agencies in the summer of 2002 came together and created a new coding system for all advertising called Ad ID, which will allow every ad of every type to carry a unique genetic ID code that will be traceable through the distribution system down to the household or individual level. We will know that Peter Seeley saw a specific commercial. It will allow us to deliver different ads to different households in the same program based on the demographics of those households.
It used to be the assignments we would get, this particular, for this particular product or this particular time period is, 2 television commercials, a couple radio spots, and maybe a print ad. Well, today, we're not looking at it like that.
Unless we do something different, we have optimized ourselves for the past. We're not in the television business, we claim we are. We're in the 30-second optimization business. What happens when 30 seconds disappears?